Hey, what's up YouTube? So in today's episode of the Kubota L3901 modifications, so we're going to be installing those Bro-tek spacers. So they're aluminum spacers, so they're made in Canada, so they're made in New Brunswick actually. It comes with all the hardware, so it comes with like studs, then a bunch of bolts, and then black washers. Anyways, what I can say about Bro-tek so far, anyways, is like the quality finish is the finish is outstanding on those. The service, like the customer service, was also great. I ordered those parts Thursday afternoon, and they were delivered. I'm in Nova Scotia, so not that far from New Brunswick, but they're actually delivered within 24 hours, which is pretty impressive. So it means they actually shipped them probably within the hour after me ordering them. And the packaging was unreal. Same thing. They really make sure that like your spacers show up. They're not scratched and dented and whatever. It was kind of like triple wrapped in a box. And anyways, so big shout out to Bro-tek for the awesome service. Alright, so first step, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to jack up the tractor. So fortunately, because my shed is too small, I'm going to have to do one side at a time. So like I'll have to like drag the tractor out and then turn it around and then do the right hand side, just there's not enough room. So I'm just going to jack it up and then underneath the 3-point hitch, and then I'll put it forward, just a jack stand underneath the subframe here where the backhoe usually mounts. So now that the tractor is lifted, so as you can see here, there's a jack stand underneath the subframe just to support it. And one trick that I've seen other guys doing YouTube, so those tires are pretty darn heavy, so I just put a piece of 2x6 underneath the tire, so that way when I finish unbolting it, like it won't just drop, and it's not gonna be hard on the threads, and it won't be hard on my back. I'll be using an impact wrench to do this job with a long extension and then a 15/16 socket. Alright, so now that you've got the wheel spacer on, so what you want to do, just so they don't come off, put a little dab of blue Loctite on it. And then you'll use the supplied cone nuts here. So you want the tapered end. You want the tapered end to go inwards, so like towards the hub. So that's also going to help center the spacer. So those are different size sockets. So they're 15/16, 17 and 3/4. what I like doing is I don't tighten up all the bolts just yet. So I make sure that all the bolts go in, kind of at least like touch the tapered surface, and then I'll torque them all down. So what you want to do, it's up to you. I mean, you can use an impact wrench if you want, or if you don't have a torque wrench. But I like not losing my wheels when I'm working with the tractor, so or with any vehicle. So I'll just go with the recommended torque, which is 150 foot-pounds of torque. Alright, so I got my torque wrench set up at 150 foot-pounds of torque. Usually I'd rather not use a extension on them. It's just because it might kind of change the setting on it, but whatever. Like it won't fit with the studs. So what you want to do is use a crisscross, like a star pattern. Cool, so wheels back on. So for the next step, what I'm going to be doing, like following the instructions, is use 4 of these supplied nuts with the tapered end. I'm going to like be using 2 of those, and then 4 of those, I mean, and then 2 of the factory nuts supplied like from with the tractor from Kubota. With the lock washer, so you reuse you reuse those. So what you do, it's like put a dab of blue Loctite on there, and then just hand tighten the bolt, the nuts I mean, and then the torque for those is 160 foot-pounds of torque. So like what I'm going to be doing is I'll just hand tighten it with a ratchet, and then use my torque wrench to go up to 160 foot-pounds of torque. So the rear wheel's all bolted up and torqued up. I'll try putting on like a picture or a clip of how the fender sat like versus the tire before the spacer was added, but yeah, it makes a pretty big difference. So as you can tell, so this is what the spacer, like it's pretty sizable spacer, so it's like 3 inches wider, so that's gonna give me an extra 6-inch width. It's gonna make the tractor a lot more stable, either like on hills or like when I'm carrying stuff in the bucket. I still have to get the tires loaded with the rim guard, but that's gonna come at some later point. So I'm gonna do a quick comparison. So like I've got the left side of the tractor all done. So as you can tell, like the center threads here stick out from the fender by probably like an inch, but the tire sticks out pretty far. If you go along the other side, it's like not too hard to tell that like the center of the thread, it's like actually under, so like inside the fender, so it makes a huge difference. So I'm guessing the tractor is going to feel a lot more stable. So for the front, I mean, it's going to be the same kind of steps as the back, so I didn't bother filming me jacking up the tractor and all that stuff, but Alright, so the front spacer needed some convincing to get on there. It's like I guess like the inner diameter that mates to like the hub was like a bit too tight. So like what I did, I didn't want to bang on it with like a even rubber mallet or whatever. So I just tightened every bolt like in a crisscross pattern, and then basically just snugged it like a quarter turn at a time on each bolt to like go in like an X pattern, and then like so it fits really good on the hub now. So all I got left to do is put some glue Loctite on the nuts. Good dab. So same thing as for the rear tires, so like the tapered end of the nut goes inwards, so towards the hub. So I kind of wish I had a wider spacer for the front. I only have 1.5 inches, but that's all they had. I didn't really see the need for a 3-inch spacer in the front. Like usually the fronts are pretty stable. I would have rather had a 1.75 inch. Like, well, what I wanted was a 2-inch spacer. I mean, they didn't have any. I didn't feel like waiting, so 1.5 inches will be more than enough anyways to the front. I'm more worried about the rear tipping. And if you don't have blue Loctite at home, you could just use regular anti-seize, like not lubricant, like spray, but like the gray. Show you, like a little can of this stuff here. Put like a dab on the threads. I'll just prevent your studs from rusting out or being stuck on there forever. I mean, like blue Loctite anyways, it doesn't have that much force to it, so it's almost there just as a lubricant more than anything. And if you only have red Loctite, then don't put that stuff on there. It'll be on there forever. All right, so I'll get the torque wrench out. So for those ones, they recommend 110 foot-pounds of torque. So same kind of deal to make sure that everything sits proper. I'll torque everything to like just over half, like 60 foot-pounds of torque, and then once that's done, I'll increase to 110. All right. Just double check, make sure they're all done. Lovely. So now everything's stored. So we'll just get ready to put the wheel back on. A lot easier with that one. It's not as heavy. So with those ones, you just reuse the same ones that came with the Kubota tractor. So same kind of deal. Taper then goes inward. So that way, make sure your rim is centered. All right. Just a little quick anchoring. So torque is the same spec, so 110 foot-pounds. I'll just kind of do the same. £70 first. That's 5 and 6. All right, so everything's torqued up. I can lower the tractor. All right, so now had to turn the tractor around just because there's not enough room in the shed. Anyways, so what I'm gonna be doing, so like I've used the front end loader to lift up the tire. Linda, move. So, anyways, instead of having to use the jack stands of the floor jack, so I'm just gonna put jack stands underneath the axle, and then take the wheel off, and kind of do like the same process for the rear wheel. So I'm not gonna film all that. I mean, you've seen it like me doing the other side, so no point in seeing that twice. So I'll catch you later when it's all done. I'll show the final result. All right, so both sides are done, as you can see. It's a lot wider, well, 6 inches wider. Debated getting wider spacers, actually like 5 inches or something, but I thought it may put too much strains on the wheel bearings. Plus it would also make the tractor pretty wide. So look, I'm going to be using that tractor a lot in the woods. So I figured I don't want to go too wide, just so like it doesn't get caught up everywhere, and like I don't need to cut super wide trails. But I think it looks a lot better. Like it used to be pretty narrow. The wheels were, like you can see here, like the wheels barely spoke out. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with the results. So if you're in the market for spacers, I'd highly recommend a Bro-tek company. So especially if you're in Canada, because then you won't have to pay customs and all that stuff. So like, because they're based in Canada. So I'm not paid by them to show their product or nothing. I just find that whenever I get my hands on a good product, I'll give credit to the company. So thanks for watching. Please subscribe, hit the like button, share with your friends or fellow Kubota owners. Then in the next episode, what I'm going to be doing is I'll be making a chainsaw mount. I'm still waiting on the parts, and then installing a fire extinguisher on the tractor. See you next time.